Hello and welcome friends. So in this video we are going to see microservices in Spring Boot. So how we are going to develop a microservices and what are the features, what we are getting the advantage while using the microservices in Spring Boot. So how to do that one we'll check in this video. So I have come with the multiple example with microservices. So here are two. So first one is microservices, also known as the microservice architecture, is an architectural style that structure an application as a collection of service that are. So we have the multiple services which will collect and make one application. That is the architectural style for microservice known as, and which is the highly maintainable and testable, and which is the loosely coupled. So each module is the independent of other module, and so that as the independent, so that they can be deployed independently on the server, and that can serve the business requirement, which is for which they are designed as per the requirement. Okay. And the second one is like that the microservice are the method for developing a software application which are made up of independent deployable modular services. So that the same thing, we can deploy independently, and modular services, like for each model we will have the different services. So each microservice run a unique process that communicate through the well defined lightweight mechanism. So that is the lightweight mechanism where these microservices will get connected, will get communicate with each other, such as the container, to serve the business goal, and so that we can get our the business requirement get fulfilled with that services. So as per me, the microservices are like that to deploy, to divide your application in the multiple small services, so that there are so that it can be fulfilled the requirement, and there is no dependency between these two services, like that can be deployable, that can be testable as independent, and it can be maintained, if I want that services once again to use for other business application or other a third party application, so that can I can directly expose to them and they can use that service from their end. So like this we can do that. And next to come, what are the requirements. So at this point I'm going to say you, this is the requirement can come from the client. So what the client wants to me to do that one, and we can see if that can be easily handled with microservices or not. So need to have each model for each business logic. So that the client wants that each model for each business logic. So business logic like that authentication of the user, login of the user, dashboard of the user, and search result module, and the logout feature. So these are the different services in my application, which client want that it can be independent work, it can do that independent work, and it can be deployed independently. There is not any pre-requirement of the login authentication or to see the dashboard. Okay, so that can be separate for the different service, and models should have the loosely coupled to each other. The same thing once again, it can be that should have in the model, so that it can be loosely coupled, and these that services are not interdependent with each other. We can communicate between them, but they should not be dependent on each other. So team can start work parallelly on each module. So if I say the requirement, I want this, I want that, so the team can start work parallelly, and expose their services. What are the requirement, like if I would say that user should have the username, email id, and user session id. So the one team can do that work of the user, and the login team can that authentication team can start with that, taking that user for username and password, and that just login using the login service. So that can interdependent communication work can be done in between of that, but team can start work parallelly on that. and it should return XML, JSON, or HTML in response, so that third-party application can easily integrate it with the application. So my all services should return some XML or JSON or HTML in response, so that if in future if I want to expose that to my third-party application, that can be do by easily, and yeah, like it will not require a lot of work once again to show that on the third party application. Okay, so application can, each module can deploy independently or production the same thing, and can be accessed by the mobile, desktop, and tab. So the service can be accessible from the mobile, desktop, or tab. That is the last one requirement. So is that requirement are getting fulfilled with this architecture, and these all these requirement are getting fulfilled with this architecture? So yes, we can say yes, yeah, this can be fulfilled. So we are going to break our application in the multiple independent models, so that application can deploy and testable independently, and they can communicate with each other by internal calling. So we are going to develop one main service which will responsible to communicate with each other module, and different team can work together. So I would say like my login model will done by different team, and authentication model that done by different team, and the dashboard to page can be done by different team. So this can all team work together if the requirement is the fulfilled properly. And technology can be vary in service to service. This is the main reason, like if I would say my front end team is working on PHP, and my backend team is working on Spring, so they are Spring team just expose the web service, and PHP team just access that service to show the data on the database, so that different technology can be used by service to service, and multiple instance can be created and tested. Yeah, that can be done, like uh, login of the if I would say like multiple user are wants to log in system at the same time, so we can reinitiate one instance of the login model, so that the user can multiple user can work, and load can be balanced on each other. Load load coming from the request can be balanced as this. So we would say like if we have the multiple instance of running of the login service, so that load can be handled at our end. So we can say we can use the microservices in our application to do all these things. So let's see in the next video what we are going to see in this tutorial. Thank you so much guys. Please subscribe to my channel.